Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. We had a good weekend. It's Monday, March 30th. We're gonna look at the SPY, 0-day options, and small account challenge. Yeah, happy Monday to you. Here's Eric's 30-minute chart. He's SPY day trading on YouTube. You can check him out. This morning we had a gap up right here on the 30-minute and just sold off on that first 30 minutes. So gaps, traps. Man, I was saying it last week, and yeah, same sort of deal today. It closed that gap in the first 30 minutes, but then it just built liquidity for so long. And then the selling was, it was fine. There were trades in there, but it was pretty grindy. Pretty grindy for a Monday, which is, I guess that's more typical anyways. But yeah, this liquidity build after a gap is keeps hitting me. Let's get into it though. 958. So I started selling. Didn't give a great retrace at all. There was a small little retrace. You could have gotten it, and I didn't, just because it was so tiny. But yeah, I saw purple here for liquidity being built for the bears right here with support and resistance, and then gray for the precision selling. Gold I got in pretty early for just a less aggressive selling. I don't think that's bullish controlled selling. So support in here, support into resistance here, and you can see it flip into resistance right there. I think I had it somewhere around here. So sold, broke it. I mean, potentially you could short it, breaking into a steeper algo there, but this is, again, it's a tight range early candles. But then once it built this purple, ideally it makes a nice head and rejects orange up here, VWAP, and that would be a nice entry. But we didn't get so fortunate. It just sold there, which could have. It also was resistance on gold, so that's the only way you could have potentially taken it with scaled down and just using gold for your stops. And I did consider it. I left it alone though. So continue to sell down, and then I put gold down there again, and it was just selling gold, and then built some more liquidity. Rejected the top of that gold again. Broke purple. I don't think I was in anywhere here. No, where I did get in those once it actually broke that gold again. Kind of like it did right here. I was thinking it's selling a steeper gray there. I think that's my first trade. Yeah, 958. So I had a limit order. Got a pretty nice fill, and then it immediately broke out of gray. And so I was like, I'll just use gold for my stops. But potentially could use gold as resistance and then break through it. But it didn't. It broke above it. This also coincided with the gap fill, so kind of makes sense. It was kind of just a little risky trade there, but tight stops. The slippage on this exit was pretty nasty though. It took too long to fill. It was a market order, and it just kind of delayed, and you could tell they were looking for liquidity and couldn't find it until it kind of went against me a bit. So that was 192 to 184, 958 to 10. And yeah, market close, and then it was a limit open. The next trade was a call at 1020. So grind it up. Let's see, did I have that one yet? Right, I didn't like the structure for the downside. Never really made a nice head here. And then I think I recognized it selling in this, or buying up in this red. But I want a nice head for head and shoulders here. My gray was a little bit different angle. It was a little, let's see, I think it was. I think I changed it at one point. Anyways, this was 1020 here. Okay, yeah, so it retested that red. This was a zombie or retracement trade. Along with it breaking the gold here, which at that point was my, yeah, I didn't have this gray at that point. So breaking the gold and using red for my stops. Wasn't too close to the stops, unfortunately, but got in, and then it, let's see, came down, and I closed it out right here. So it basically rejected. Like, I got in, the candle opened up here, and then just went red, and I was like, I'll leave it. I didn't want to use red for my stop. Not no one was that quick. If it wanted to come over here a little bit and then do it, but it immediately broke back into the gold, and I wasn't about it. So close out of it there, and that was 137 to 125. Contracts were a little bit expensive. Ivy was above, it was 30+%, close to the money. And I was in a call again at 10:23. Yeah, because the green candle came, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll try this retracement again. The Zami, and then it just grinded. And then I think that's when I charted this gray. Like, something else is going on here, potentially. Let's see. Oh, I never got sick. Yeah, thanks for your prayers. For none of you prayed. I did. It was weird. I got kind of sick on Friday. Like, I had a bad headache that day, super bad, and then I felt like throwing up at one point. And then I had pizza and cookies, and I was all better. It was amazing. So, yeah, thankful for that. Pizza and cookies. Don't ever do that when you're sick. 10:28, 10:28. Yeah, I closed this. So this one I did actually end up waiting. I waited till here, and then it closed below it, and then it bounced, but that's fine. It wasn't going anywhere anyways. That's my charted gray. So this was kind of an ugly open to close. 137 to 125. No, that was 138 to 121. Yeah, it was more of a drawdown there because I decided, okay, I'll hold it for red this time, like I originally planned to. Next one was a call at 10:48. So broke down, and then I think I see gray selling. I didn't have these bronzes yet. Yeah, I mean, if you put another gray down here, there's still room. Okay, yeah. So then it made a potential for an inverse head to grab all this shoulder liquidity. Ripped up volume. I got it on this candle in the retrace, and then it just sold. I'm like, ugh. Did it not actually break and close above it? And I wasn't like gray. I was like trying to figure out the angle. I was like, maybe it's like a little bit more, a little bit less. It's kind of hard to see it in here just because of all these wicks and stuff. But I thought it was something similar to this. But then, yeah, I wasn't super confident in it. Because this could have been inverse head right here to grab the shoulder, or this could be a head to grab this shoulder on this inverse cup and handle. But I thought it breaking above the gray was enough. But, you know, maybe it's looking up here for this resistance. Anyways, I think I was out of this one pretty quick. Yeah, 146 to 142. I was out of those calls the same minute. Right on this candle. In and out. And I was like, dang. And it came down, came back up, and then it actually had a proper close above that gray. I charted this gold. This wasn't really necessary. Close above the gray and kind of breaking out of this red. If I wasn't sure if it was buying up in this red though at that point. This gray though, this selling would be bullish. It's just going the wrong direction. The red would be bearish. It's going the right direction. But yeah, this one closed above the gray, and I had green from back here for guided precision buying to control my risk. That was at let's see, what is that at? Yeah, so a lot of back and forth this morning. Wait a minute. 48. Oh, this one. No, shoot. Okay, yeah. So 1048, that's right. I bought one, and then I bought another one on 1048. I think that's retracing right here. I thought that was a sell. It was another buy. And then bought another one at 1049 on this candle. Yeah. Because it was holding up right here above it. And so I got another one. I forgot. Yeah. I was scaling this one a bit. So first buy was 146, second one was 142, third one was at 119. So I was down quite a bit at that point. I wasn't averaging into it necessarily. I mean, I am, but I still think it's the right trade until this candle closed way back down here. And I'm not wanting to hold it for this red as a stop. That was the only thing I knew. So I just got out of it. Yeah, sold them all for 111. That was nasty. Right here on this candle. Once this one fully closed, below the gray, I was like, all right, I don't know what's going on. I'm back out. I don't want to hold for that. So yeah, that was pretty bad. Again, another day where it's a gap, and then I get trapped in the first couple hours where it's building liquidity. When typically we don't have gaps, and we get the move in the first couple hours, and then potentially for the second half of the day, middle of the day, it does that. But not today. Oh yeah, that's right. So that was killing my buying power. I wasn't paying attention to it. I try not to look at anything as far as numbers go. Oh, I actually forgot I did that. Yep. And then at 1050, I flipped, thinking, all right, this is actually the resistance. This is inverse covenant handle. This didn't break out of gray, so I'll use gray for my stop. Looking for a move to grab this down here and to continue down. So I got, I think, only one put here. Yeah, at least I scaled down. Got one put here for 103, sold it for 101 at 53. So on this candle, once it closed up here. So whipsaw city for sure for me right there. Thankfully I scaled down for the next one, and it was only a small loss. I limit opened, which helped. And then I forgot about all those trades before I actually got the right one. And then at 57, I waited for this candle to close, and right at this candle, I did a limit. I used green for my stop. Limit, call. Wait, was that a limit? No, that was a market. So first one was a market. And then I limited. So 144 on the market, and then I got one more for on that same candle, actually. 57. Sorry, 57? Oh, they're both on 57, yeah. Thankfully, I actually barely got filled on that one. I remember sitting there and I was like, if this doesn't retrace to green, I don't think I'm gonna get filled. And it just barely filled me. 141. So thankfully I was able to get two. Nice green candles, pretty easy to manage. I mean, it was slow moving, but it stayed green. Some of these maybe want to close it since it is a zombie and a retracement. It's like you don't really know where exactly it's going to stop. Ideally, it makes it all the way up to this gray, which was, you know, this same bullish controlled selling we saw down here for the support. But I might have had it off a little bit. I'm not sure, but it didn't quite make it. So came up through here. I sold out of the two. I sold one, I think, on this candle. It had some nice velocity. You can see the volume increasing there. Nice velocity, hit kind of the top of the range. And I had two, and I want to get rid of one. Turn that down a little bit. What was that? $1.94. I closed that one right at 11 o'clock. So yeah, on this candle, I got a nice fill. I think it was a limit. Yeah, $1.94 for a limit. So nice first green trade out of a sea of red trades. This one then came down. I'm like, oh no, and then rallied. And we also had potentially for red being resistance, which I think red, it actually was buying up in red, which you can see later on, the support and the resistance and then the break. So I wasn't sure which one I was buying up in. So that's why that's the nature of a wedge trade though, right? When you're trading in the wedge. So the second one, this actually went up to 225 right here, the contract, and it had nice velocity on it, but then it just wicked, and I was like, I thought it'd still go higher, but I wanted to manage this one with a green, so I waited for this candle to close, and I sold it, I think right here, pretty quick. Yeah, 1106, right at the very beginning of that candle, I market ordered it. Just thinking my line was a little bit off or didn't quite make it, whatever. I don't need to hold for anything else. So that one was $1.90, actually a little worse fill, which is crazy, just because the slippage. So after those two, I was just a tiny bit red, I think like 10 bucks, 15 bucks maybe. No, 15, 20 bucks. Yeah, something like that. So small red day, which was nice because this was a lot of averaging in on red trades, which is a bad decision. Well, it's good decisions. I managed the risk, but it's just my accuracy was very low. So to then just have one green trade, they only had two contracts on to make up for all of it. Kind of the nature of it. It's just trying to cut back on these. Yeah, so I think when it gaps, think maybe I should just wait until I size up at all. I don't know, just really need to just slow down on a gap day in the beginning of the day for the first few hours until kind of it builds liquidity and stuff gets more clear. But I'm happy. Like normally high IV and all the volatility, I've come a long way from just even a few months ago where I had such a hard time trading days like this. Just the bigger range, the higher IV. So definitely grateful for that. I did one more. I was out of buying power. I had one more trade left. I had like $90 in buying power, and so I also had my Webull account, which I can do spreads on. It's a small margin account. So like I could do that, and usually I like to do that kind of midday as it just grinds. Like you can just theta decay on that. But I thought since we might get a little bigger move, I don't know. I decided just to do the trade on here. At 11:16, I gotta put, yeah. So at that point, I didn't have this bronze. I had the red. It broke the red here. I got it on the little retrace on that candle, and then it rallied up. And unfortunately, since I knew this was my last trade, I was out of buying power. I think it kind of got in my head a little bit to hold a little bit longer. I was like trying to give it room, like, yeah, maybe it'll want to retest the shoulder. And yeah, and I didn't have this bronze charted in at all, or this one. So this one was from here and here, which I don't know if this is actually right, but I got this later from these resistances. I think it might be, because it bounced here and then broke it and then retested it. So I think there's maybe two of these bronze ones. So yeah, anyways, got that one 11.16 for 88 cents. Closed it for 67 cents. So yeah, kind of a nasty red trade on that one. Right here, I'm like, all right, I need to just close it because I can feel I'm wanting to hold it since it's my last trade. So last one was kind of a red one. Moved up, climbed up. I started charting more. I think I charted this one. We have a nice retracement or zombie or wedge trade up here, rejecting gray again. You could get a little tighter on it, like on the body, not up on the wick. This one didn't quite make it, so gave me a little bit of doubt. But here, sure, here you could, because this was just it's still within like kind of the margin of error. If you do it there on the wicks, or my angle's just off a little bit. It's hard to know which it is, but it's an area. It's not always perfect. So could have here. Once I had that charted, could have entered here. Nice little head and shoulders here. We hadn't closed any of the upside cups, so very well could still be bearish. On the 30-minute, we had broken the green selling at that point. And we were kind of selling in the magenta, which isn't good for downside. Let's see, that was at 1. I fully did it. Where was that? Yeah, that was like in here. So in here, then finally broke through that magenta. But I took a trade on Webull because I was out of buying power. And let me show you. I'm not as quick on this one. Here it is. So it was a call credit spread. I opened it at 12.18. Okay, yeah. So it was on this move right here. I charted this gold. It had broken here, and I didn't take it just because I wasn't too sure since it kind of faked me out back here. And by that point, I think I charted this also. So I was like, I'll leave it. Ideally with credit spreads, I'm more trying to, it's like maybe wedge trade or just, I'm usually looking for like the very smallest risk to huge reward. It's like, oh, aren't you always looking for that? Not necessarily, because with just long naked options, I can just catch some volatility and that's all I need. You know, I just need this. But with spreads, I'm trying to just let it sit and go in my favor. Just slowly is fine and let it just decay. So if I have the direction right and it continues to go, you know, this is a great time, a great day to do spreads. You don't know it though in the moment, of course. So I kind of treated this trade as if it was just a naked long option. It was kind of as practice, but I didn't have that tool to use because I was out of buying power. So I basically just used spreads to do it. But I traded it kind of the same way. So on this candle, 12.18, it broke this bronze I charted, and then I had gold for the selling from way back here. And so I use that somewhat to manage my risks, but with spreads I can be a little more flexible just because time's on my side. So as it's moving, it's decaying most likely if it's out of the money. So I kind of had this gold actually for my stop. I was gonna just kind of let it do its thing. Couple of profit targets. Of course, I like to just hold it until it expires worthless. I won't do that though. I always close it for a small amount at least. At this point, there was a target on the 30-minute. I didn't know if we'd get it, of course, but the blue down here, right here, and then of course low of day. But by that point, it was just kind of grinding. Let's see where. So it was right here. So it started coming down, which is great. And then it starts to grind, but I was like, well, it did just hit this gold that I just charted, or no, that one. It broke that. So I charted this one, which I think this was actually more the one. Yeah, that kind of showed up later in the day too. So resistance is through here, 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 here. And that even goes back to there, I think. Yeah, sort of. Yep. And then kind of these supports. This one didn't really hit it, but I suppose if you had a little higher, it would. So anyways, I had 4 of these things, and so I could kind of scale out of it. I opened them up for at 12.18. What was the total? I think it was 40. Okay, it's 47 cents I opened them up for. Closed the first one. Getting filled on Webull is hilarious. It's such a joke. They're like last in line as far as getting liquidity and getting filled. I'm pretty sure they sit behind every other brokerage just because they're Chinese and American markets don't care. Yeah, it'll go way past my price and it still doesn't fill. You have to it has to sit there and kind of dance back and forth around your price for it to actually fill, or just go way in your price. It exaggerates it because I'm doing spreads as multiples to fill, but it's still just ridiculous. There's so much liquidity on SPY. It's like there's no reason. And this is what you pay for when you have free commission or no commission. You're paying for it with this. So, anyways, really hard to get filled on the exit. Close the first one for 41 cents. So yeah, that's why I say I was kind of treating it like a naked put, because this hadn't decayed a whole lot because the move happened quite quickly after I, this would have been a nice move with a naked put for sure. Spreads, I mean, it's like you want to just sit on it. But anyways, close the first one for 41 cents. So I guess it was 6 cents. 6 cents profit, and that was at 12.36. I think it was. Yeah, so I put the limit order here. Kind of once it was starting to do this, once I saw this, it never filled. I changed it a little bit. It came up and I just left it. And then it finally filled, I guess on this candle right here. And I was like, oh man, that's so nasty trying to get out of that. I didn't want it to come all the way back up here and bounce and retest here. I mean, the trade would have probably been red by then. But I did see that, of course, it could keep coming down since this whole technical analysis was bearish still. So I was kind of, I wanted to hold it, but how hard it was to get out of that thing, I'm like, I better just start selling some more. So I think I sold, yeah, I sold another one for 41 cents. Let's see, what, 12.33, 12.30. What's up with this timing? 12, I sold one at 12.33 also. Oh. Okay, I sold one down here. That's right. I don't know why I did put it out of order. Sold one down there for 41 cents. I thought I sold one a little earlier. Yeah, 12.43. And then it broke this gold and I tried to sell another one. Wait, where are we? Here we are. Sorry. 12.33 and 12.36. Yeah. Oh, okay, 12.33. All right, was there. And then 36. Okay, I sold them both there and there. Both of them are 41 cents. So then I had, what, 2 left. The next one I also sold for 41 cents at 38. You see, I'm kind of trying to get out of these. Yeah, sold it there. Same price. I don't know how that happened. I guess on the red part of that. This was, so this gold line also is blue, I think, or close to it. So that was part of the reason I was getting on also. It was basically right at this blue as a support. So that's why I was like, I'm going to pretty much get out of these. And so, yeah, that's why I kept going on it. They weren't like super profitable. I had enough of them where it wasn't bad, but yeah. And then I was trying to hold the last one. I was like, all right, I have one runner. I'm just going to go do something else and just leave it and let it do its thing. So it grinded. Where did I even end up selling this thing? 126. Yeah, this was the better way to, I mean, yeah, it's kind of however you want to manage your risk. So I had one left in case it broke blue, and it did end up breaking the blue on the 30-minute. I had gold here. Let's see, where was this? Was this at 18? 126. Okay. Yeah, it was in here somewhere. It was right there on that red candle. Not sure exactly why. I think I had steeper gray charted here and it just broke that. I thought that was a good time to get out of it. This might have been... Was this when that... Okay, yeah, so this was when it was fully... When I was closing those other ones, it had wicked down here a little bit on blue and was like kind of up here. And then when that last one closed, it was like, it was on this candle and it was fully on it. So that was another reason why I was like, all right. That's enough. And sure enough, I think this bounce was probably on that blue. Built some more liquidity before it flushed down below it. And caught up with that orange selling down there. A little steeper selling. But yeah, that was kind of the idea behind it. If I had a better... So let's see. Go open up there. If I had a better selling channel to manage the risk with, I would have been fine to hold it longer. I mean, I guess I had this. I don't know if I had this one in there. This gray at that point. And it's like, why would I put it in here, right? Like I had it up here and I'm like, I don't want to hold it all the way to there. I'll be super red. So I started doing it in here, but before that, I don't know how I would do it. So, here's the Weeble. You don't usually see that one. So yeah, 26, that's on the 5-day. So today was up 51 bucks. So not bad. It's like a $500 account. It doesn't really go very far, very much. It kind of hangs around there. I don't trade on it a whole lot because I'm usually just doing naked calls, but it's definitely nice to trade spreads. It's easier, especially credit spreads. I enjoy it. It's just nice to just kind of set it and forget it. But since the margin, I only have one trade or 3 trades, I guess every 5 days it is. So I'm not kind of looking at that account unless I'm out of buying power or the opportunity for a credit spread presents itself. So today, this wasn't necessarily a credit spread move. Like this was more practicing with options. Given if I had options, I probably wouldn't have held through all of this. Unless if I had a lot, I guess, a lot of options to hold. I could have sold most of them here, and then I guess I could have held a couple through here. But at this point, my scaling is not big enough to really want to hold any options through a move like this. It gets easier though if once you chart this gray to use that to manage. But for me, it's like broke that. It's building up in this bronze, which is great. But I mean, I don't want to hold it all the way up to here. I don't want to hold it up to here. Like so. With a spread, I just actually put a break-even stop on it after it started chopping through here. I was fine to let it go up and stop me out. So thankfully it did, and I was able to close it down there. So that account was like 50 something. And unfortunately I did run out of buying power in here. I feel like I probably could have ended up nice green day, but here's a small account down 35. Not bad at all for Monday and chop. Looking at the whole as a Monday, feels like it probably could have been a pretty green day, even though I got whipsawed in here a bit. It just took that one trade to kind of get me back even, and then yeah, like right here I would have taken puts. Potentially here also. So I think I would have been green on that one, or green on that one. Maybe I would have gotten caught up in here, because it kind of broke through and kind of kept doing stuff that I didn't know what was going on. All the while I was actually just selling in this gray, probably. Was my presumption. Yeah, I do like those though. Yeah, so taking it here, I guess I wouldn't have taken it until like there, which is pretty aggressive, and I don't know if I would have done that at that time of day. Breaking that gray right here, selling to steeper selling. Yeah. And after that, I don't know. I kind of stopped charting it because I was out of buying power anyway. So I don't know how it would have gone. It's always tough because when you have a lot of red trades, it's like it could just get worse. So sometimes it's a blessing running out of buying power. Probably oftentimes it is. So I don't mind that I kind of scaled up a little bit. I do need to be aware though on the gaps. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down, happy money 6th round. See you tomorrow. Peace out.